Don't know. All right. All right. Technology does its own thing. You're with us on Tuesday. You know we had some things going crazy then too. So, but we keep showing up, so you keep showing up, right? So anyway, welcome to another episode of Conversations with Geoff. I want to thank everybody that's been following us and welcome all you new folks to the community, to the tribe. You're in the right place. The guest that we have coming up shortly is just, I mean, you want to make sure you're here. You want to make sure you're present. You know, and if you're busy and you got to do some things, then go back and watch this thing again. Powerful soul, woman, an entrepreneur, mom. Anyway, just make sure you're here, right? And thank everybody for supporting us and being a part of the community. And I put something in the chat just to kind of kick it off for those of you that may not understand what we're about here. And you know, it's about Conversations with Geoff, but it's that conversation you have with yourself about yourself, right? And how that feeds that stinking thinking or you know, it supports you and it helps you thrive, helps you prosper in the things that you want to do, right? So look at what I have here. Your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. Will you grow flowers or will you grow weeds? And you know, why am I talking to you about this? Because there's an attachment to that. And you know, not too long ago, I was in the hospital and I had surgery. And you know, there's a session that we're going to be talking about in the future around life during the pause or setback or adjustment or correction, however you want to say it. We all go through these things, right? We're moving in a direction and something changes, something makes us change. But that's how it was for me, man. So I saw different. Rather than be all busy and racing around, you know, I really was trying to stay in a space where I'll be receptive to what I believe the universe and God was trying to tell me. The messages that we all hear, those whispers, you know, those whispers you get, and you're like, man, but you don't do it because you may be afraid. You don't do it because you don't want to be embarrassed. You don't do it because you're afraid. You don't want to be embarrassed and you don't have the skills. You know what I'm talking about, right? So you know, and man, so what do we do? Because we have a chance to plant flowers, or we have plants to grow weeds, you know. And so when we plant those flowers, it takes some work to make sure that we nurture those plants, and then we make sure that we water them and we get the weeds out, right? Because anybody ever, I don't know about you, but weeds are just notorious. Sometimes you get something, you have a grass, a garden, whatever, and the weeds just don't die. They always show up, right? It's kind of like that negative message, that stinking thinking that we always have. So for those of you that are here in the community, man, we're about, you know, our mission and our purpose is really just to help you become just simple things that we all have the ability to do. That should make you excited. What I'm saying to you is you can do whatever it is you still want to do, no matter what your current circumstances are. Your current circumstances do not dictate your future. You do, right? And so it's just a simple thing, becoming aware of the things you tell yourself all day long, the things that you allow around yourself all day long, the external noise and the internal noise, right? Becoming aware of those things. And then secondly, pausing for a moment. And you know, it's real simple. Rather than say, I can't, you know, you start to say, I will. Rather than say, I try. You know, so I'm going to do it. Rather you say maybe, you say I must do it. Whatever that is for you, whether it's in a relationship that you want to rekindle, start, fix, right? A business you want to build. I don't know what it is for you, right? But it's whatever those things are, because what we say is what we get, baby. You know, that's the facts of life. What we say is what we get. So what are you telling yourself, and what are the rewards that you're getting, right? So we become aware of what we're talking about. We pay attention to what we do and say next. And then we start to replace those things one word at a time. So your task today is, what word are you going to stop using today that doesn't serve you? What word are you going to stop using today that keeps you locked down, keeps that limited belief there? What word is that going to be? And then what statements are you going to go away from, right? Because remember, baby, we all have that opportunity. Hey, the thoughts that we plant are going to either grow flowers or they're going to grow weeds. Let's kill the weeds, baby. All right? Let's plant those flowers together. And we start today, we start right now. Now's the time to do it, not tomorrow. Right now is the time to do it. While our speaker that's sharing is coming up here, you're taking some notes, take what she's sharing with you and go do something great today for yourself. All right? And I just, one more thing, this is kind of personal, and I'm sharing it with you, and it's about taking things for granted. I had a young man I grew up with, played sports together, ran track, football, just a hungry athlete, just a great guy. He did some tremendous things in sports. Later on, got married and hadn't seen him for a long time. And now we're in Texas, close by each other. And in the last 3 years, we've been talking about getting together. Hey, how you doing? Been chatting with this stuff, right? I always found an excuse not to make it work. I always felt like it was a little inconvenient at the time, being honest. Right? Because either you feel that way or you make a decision and you get together. There's some reason why you don't get together, right? Anyhow, so we do this, and I get a message the other day. Someone says, hey, have you heard about so-and-so? Right? Out of the blue. And no, I hadn't heard about it yet. And the next morning, I get the message that none of us want to get, which I suspected, that he had passed. I had just talked to him 3 weeks ago. He was cheering me on about coming back, because we're part of the comeback community. He'd come back king. That's me, right? And he was cheering me on, man. Now he's gone. Just like that. Big, beautiful smile, love life, husband, community leader, just great guy, gone, man. So anybody out there taking things for granted, your loved ones, yourself, your desires, whatever it is, don't do it, right? Don't do it. Live now. Man, I grabbed my wife when I saw her that day, and I always do it, and my daughters and my family and my friends, just reminding them that we never know. We never really know when our time is. So how do you want to leave your friends? How do you want to leave your family? You want them to leave with a smile? You want them to be something that can remember all those things? We all got a choice, right? So anyhow, rest in peace, my friend. To his family, we love you, and we'll do whatever we can to help support you. So let's get back to the show. And let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that our next guest coming up is a dear friend of mine. I got to know her over a short period of time. She's a native Ohioan. She's a mom, a wife, just a community leader, just a person that just, man, you're going to see her just humble, big, beautiful smile, peaceful, but walk softly, but carry a big voice. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring to the stage my friend, our next guest, Stephanie Rousseau from, I believe, Ohio. I know Ohio, but I can't remember if it's Cincinnati or Dayton. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. So my first, I want to say condolences to you on the loss of your friend. I know how that can impact you. So I want to extend my condolences to you and prayers.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was just like, wow. Man. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. So we were talking back, behind stage before we got here, and you were asking about what to talk about, and you kind of laughed. I said, hey, why don't you share a little bit about some of the things that people may or may not know, the struggles or the crap things in life, and you started to laugh.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And the reason that I laughed, Geoff, is I was listening to you backstage. You were dropping a lot of wisdom and nuggets. We face challenges every day.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away. Every day when we wake up. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm so grateful to wake up, and I thank God for all the blessings that, he has bestowed on me. But still, with the economy and everything that is going on, you go out the gas station, the prices are higher. You're going to the grocery store. The prices are higher in there too. And so you're looking at your environment and you're looking at everything and, and we react to that. But, you have to look beyond that. You have to look beyond your now and look at your vision that God has given you. And so when you look beyond that, and what I say is people like to look at things with their physical eyes. I like to look at things with my spiritual eyes. So I can see that light at the end of the tunnel. Now, sometimes that light flickers, it gets a little dark, but what I do know is light drowns out darkness. And I know who is my light. And so when you know who your light is, you know who you are and whose you are, that is what helped me to function. That has helped me to say, I can. And you were saying, the words.
Yeah.
Words are powerful. They are so powerful. And so, with the tongue, we can speak life or we can speak death. And we have to make that choice of which one do we want to speak and speak into people.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with that and with your thoughts, because with your thoughts, you're speaking to yourself. And those thoughts get into your mind, and you can discourage yourself or you can encourage yourself, and you're making that choice. And one way that you make that choice, it all comes down to, some people call it mindset, positive mindset, but I like to go with my favorite book says it's faith.
Mm.
And so when you're looking in there, Hebrews chapter 11 says, now faith. And I love that it says now faith, because what we tend to do is do everything else. I think that's God's way of saying, okay, you done tried everything else. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And so when you're looking at that, you can't see it, but you have to believe it.
Yeah.
And I love the law of substitution.
Mm.
Things are going to enter in your mind, but the law of substitution allows you to replace a positive thought with a negative thought.
Yeah. I mean, you just laying so many heavy things out here already. We just getting started. So I really appreciate what you're sharing here. I want to back you up a couple of things. So you said some really cool things. Light drowns out the darkness, and you're committed, obviously, a spiritual woman, Christian woman, God speaking to you and what you say to people and your messaging and who you get it from. I was looking for something like my wife and I, every morning, we try to, we work on it, try out. We work on it every morning to have those spiritual gatherings. And there was a message. I'll see if I can find it, but it was talking about what you shared, and finding faith in the unknown and thoughts speaking to people. So, has it always been easy for you? I mean, you sound like you got this thing figured out now and it works automatically, or did you have to put some work in to where you are today?
No, it has not been easy. And sometimes I used to ask God and say, I felt like Job. So no, it has not been easy. But what I know is that having that faith is what makes it easier. See, when you have faith, it says, I may fall, or some people may look at it as fail, but people look at it when you fall that you won't get back up again. And so faith helps you to get back up again, and it helps you to see your vision beyond your now and beyond your circumstances. And so a lot of people think that when you have faith, or, again, this is my belief, I'm a daughter of Christ. And so they feel that when you choose that path, that nothing's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
Well, I heard one say, if nothing's happening to you, then you don't have anything going on. So you want it. So you're going to have some struggles and everything. But what you need to know, because he said, we will have trials and tribulations. He didn't say you may. He didn't say sometimes. He said you will. But what faith does is help you to be able to deal with those. It helps you to be able to go through those. And a lot of times when your vision is big, and I call big, I love acronyms. Big is a believing God. When I say that the only way you can explain that came to fruition is but God, when you are blessed to have one of those big visions, honey, let me tell you, you're going to go through some things. And to me, that is your test. It's your preparation. And you're going through that because he wants to know, are you able and capable to do this? And you have to pass your test. And a lot of times we don't pass our test. And so your test is your testimony. So when you go through that, then you need to share it with others. So I've been through many tests and shared my testimonies. And you need to do that because you never know when you may inspire someone and you may help someone else out who's going through what you're going through.
Yes, ma'am.
And so when you share that, you're encouraging and inspiring them. And then they say, if that sister can do it and she got through it, I know I can. Look at you. You shared some struggles that you went through with health, but you don't look like what you've been through. And I'm quite sure you don't smell like you're burnt. And that is the same thing with us. I shared with you backstage, I went through a car accident in 2008. I'm still suffering with some back issues. I have some other health issues. And I know some people who are in pain and they'll say, well, I won't go here, I won't do this, and I won't do that. I'm going to do it. I may do it a little differently. I may have on a real nice dress, but I'll have on some gym shoes. I don't worry about what other people think and say, oh, look at her. She's dressed up real nice, but she have on gym shoes. I look at myself and say, I know I'm still cute, but I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable. I know I can't wear my heels right now. And I'm okay with that. I may have to wear a flat. I may go from gym shoes to a flat. One time I was wearing a boot. So you have to, if you want to say pivot, some people don't like that word, pivot, redirect, whatever you have to do what you're called to do.
Yeah, I love that. I'm taking notes here and laughing when I go off screen camera, just cheering you on, because it's, the bigger the challenge, the bigger the reward, the greater the challenge, the greater the test. And you said so many people don't pass that test, and then they blame it on something else.
Yes.
And so, it's so true, because our show is we don't push any religion or hold anything back on anybody here.
That's why I'm saying my story. This is my personal
thing. This is your story, and I love it. Because my story is a mixture, right? But everybody's story is a little bit different. But what you're saying, Stephanie, and so beautifully saying, is that you face these adversities, you get back up. And it's not how hard you can get hit. It's how many times you can get hit and keep getting back up.
Yeah, Geoff, and I just want to share with you, and I'll just get personal. If I had listened to man, I wouldn't be here. There have been a few times when they have given up on me medically.
Yes.
And said she is not going to make it. One time, when I had my first child, my grandmother, and thank God for a praying grandmother. You always want to have somebody who could pray for you. When they said she's not going to make it, my grandmother said, we're going to take her to the chapel. This was in the hospital. Said, we're going to take her to the chapel. That's like taking me to the altar. Yeah. And I'm hooked up to oxygen and all of these things. And they said, well, we can't do it. Now, you weren't going to tell my grandmother what you can't do. She knew in her mind, I got to get my grandbaby to the altar, which is the chapel here in the hospital. And we're going to go there and we're going to pray. She had them roll me down with the IV oxygen and all that to the chapel. And they prayed for me. And they rolled me back. The next day, the doctors could not explain how I had improved. And so, I got quite a few stories like that. That's that but God that I'm talking about. That we have to believe. My grandmother had that belief. She had the belief that we're not going to just pray for her here in this hospital room. No, we're going to roll her down in the elevator. We're going to take her down on the first floor to the chapel, and we're going to present her before the altar. So that's faith.
Yeah.
That is faith. That is that you are believing. Yeah. You're not looking at what they're telling you. You're not receiving the message that they're telling you. And, and I love, and nothing against doctors, I love them, but remember, they're practicing medicine. Yeah. They're practicing. He's not practicing.
Yeah. No, there's no practice, no scrimmage, and, everything is real there. Yeah.
So I always say that most people quit right before their breakthrough or their hallelujah. And so we have to learn to quit quitting, especially on ourselves. We have to learn to have that perseverance and just continue to keep pressing on. We have to learn to, first of all, again, it all starts with your mindset or your faith, whatever you want to call it. That's where it starts. Yeah. You have to first believe, because, and you said it earlier, if you think you can, you will. If you think you can't, you know what? You won't. You're going to be right 50% of the time. So.
You'd be better than the baseball star, right? And
you already starting out with 50%, and you get to choose it. He gives us that right to choose which way you want to go. And so, and I'm going to be honest, it's not easy. Yeah. It's not easy. It's simple. Believe, have faith. It's simple. but it's not easy.
No, it's not. But it's worth it.
It is so worth it.
I mean, how do you think your grandmother felt? She didn't have to say anything the next day, right? I mean, I would love to have been able to see her picture.
It was amazing because when the doctors came in and went on to order the blood transfusion and did all of these things, they came in and they said, "We can't explain what happened." And my grandmother said, "I know what happened." She was very confident.
Yeah.
She was very confident, and saying, "I know." And when my pastor came to visit me, and he was like, "Where?" Because the room was cleared out. He said, "Well, where are they?" And he said, "Down at the altar." He said, "I should have known."
Yeah.
But you know what? It's just, again, you just got to dare to dream, dare to believe. And when you do, and you just have to work on your thoughts, I believe that our thoughts shape our reality and they reveal it. So as I mentioned, if you think you can, you will. So they're going to reveal your reality. Right. Your thoughts it creates your lifestyle. Where it dictates where you live, what you drive. All of those things comes down to your thoughts and your mindset.
That's right. And that's the beautiful thing, and why we put this show together, and why we have folks on here like yourself, Stephanie, that recognize and experience. I mean, yours is all about deep levels of faith, right? Some folks may not have that type of connection, but they have the ability to control these. Mine 8 inches, because I got a really large cranium, space between our ears, right? To be able to do that, and in hearing your message about, just your current circumstances don't have to dictate your future outcome. And the power of your thoughts is so amazing. So, time is zipping by. I want people to hear you. You now tell us. I'm kind of moving into something that's more business, but it still brings. I believe it brings your grandmother along too, and that's your pound cake business, right? Yeah. So let's talk about that for a minute. I want to know, there's a connection.
Sure. So my pound cake business, again, all of my businesses, I call them my business ministry.
Yes.
And so if you notice in my businesses, all I'm doing is serving others.
Yes.
And touching others. And so I have been baking and cooking with my grandmother for years. What I love most about that was the conversations that we had. See, she introduced me to God. Okay. And so having the conversations and the wisdom and everything there. So people used to encourage her to open up a bakery or a restaurant. She never did, because she thought, this is just my home cooking. And so after she got elderly, the torch was passed on to me. And so for 20 years, people were asking me to do the same thing. In December of 2019, I kept praying on it, and I prayed on it for 20 years. In December of 2019, God spoke to me and told me to open up a bakery. He told me an online bakery, pound cakes only, and unique designs. And so when I announced on Facebook that this is what I was doing, people thought I was crazy. Because I had never heard of an online bakery. And I'm going to be honest, I was too. I had never heard of an online bakery. And so I prayed for clarity to say, God, this is what you really want me to do? And he said, yes, pound cakes only. And so the bakery is Delicious Pound Cakes. It's named in memory and honor of my grandmother. Her middle name was Dee.
Yeah.
And my tagline is a taste from heaven, because that vision came from her and God. And so what I tell people is, when God gives you a vision, he gave it to you. So when others, even your close family members, may not get it, don't get upset with them, because he didn't give it to them. He gave it to you. Yeah. And you know what? They don't understand it. And guess what? You may not either. But you have to be obedient.
you were wondering yourself.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. But I was obedient, and because I know obedience is better than sacrifice. And so I went on and I moved forward. And so people, they were like, this is not what we told you to do. You're supposed to open up a brick and mortar. I did this during the pandemic. Had I listened to them, I would have been shut down.
You were down, out of business.
And still paying rent. Don't forget that part. But since I was online, I didn't have to do that. And he has blessed me. We have now shipped to 25 states.
Mm.
We have a corporate department. And so things just keep growing and keep getting bigger because he keeps putting things in me. Now, he doesn't give you things all at the same time.
Yeah.
This has evolved.
Yes,
As I'm continue doing something, now he's widening it, he's making it bigger, and he's helping me to see it. So I do want to say, he doesn't give you everything, say, open an online bakery, ship to 25 states, do this, that. That didn't happen. When I first started out, I only had 3 designs. Now I have 6 designs.
Yeah.
And so you're going to do that. But now people are seeing the vision. They're catching on. They didn't at first. And so what I tell you, still smile, still serve. Still serve them, and you will see that it will happen. So that's one of the things that we have to do. He tells us that we have to be a servant leader. We have to serve others, even when you don't feel like it. You have to serve. And people ask me, what was taking me so long? Like I said, I waited 20 years.
Yeah.
And people kept telling me to move forward, but I didn't move forward until he told me to. I have some other things that I do too, that I serve in, that people keep saying that I need to make it into a business. And I said, I won't do it until he tells me to do it for profit. Right now, I'm doing it serving you. Until he tells me to do it for profit, I can't move in that direction.
Yeah, no, I love that. And Isaac, hey Isaac, how you doing? Steph, Isaac saying service, Steph saying amen. So I mean, he's just kicking some real fire here. And I wrote this down. You said during that time you had to still smile, you had to still serve, you had to still, just keep serving back, right? During those times.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you may be going through something, and one of the things that my grandmother taught me, we may not have much to eat. And as we were in there cooking, I remember one time we were going through some struggles, and my mother was going through a divorce, and we didn't have anything to eat. And so she made some homemade waffles. And she made it better, but I'm telling those homemade waffles melt in your mouth. And so we had some people who were stopping over, and they used to always come over to eat. And they came and said, what are y'all eating? And so we're saying we're having brunch for dinner, breakfast for dinner. And we're having homemade waffles. They was like waffles, but then they start smelling it. They had never had homemade waffles before.
Yes.
We always made enough. We knew how to turn, a dinner for 5 into a dinner for 10. Everybody just get a little bit now. But we did that, and they sat there and they ate with us, and they ate the waffles with us. I've never been ashamed of something like that, because we were still being fed.
Yeah.
And it was still good food. Yeah. I truly believe when you're making food homemade from scratch, you're touching people's soul and you're touching their heart. And so I really love that. And that is why, my cakes are taste from heaven. Because that's what they're doing. I've had people who have contacted us and said, I felt my mom's presence here when I ate your cake. We send them for sympathy and, all this. I've had people who were sick and ate a bite and they felt better. I pray over every cake before I send it out. So I know in doing that I am touching people's hearts, that I'm doing that. So it's more than just a pound cake business for me. That's why I say it's my business ministry.
Yeah, and Stephanie, as I'm listening to you, and I'm imagining y'all around the kitchen talking, laughing, and everybody got a job to do in the process here. It's blood, sweat, and tears, and love that goes into that. So it can't be anything else but coming out on the other side when people receive it, right?
Yeah. And so it's what I'm passionate about. So everything that I do, it all aligns up and complements each other. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe when you find your purpose and your passion, and you can turn that into profit, you don't really feel like you're working. Now, don't get me wrong. When I'm in there and you're baking and everything, you're hot and all of that. But it's such a pleasure, because when I can see the facial expression of someone once they've taken a bite, or they share a testimony with me, it's all worth it. That's the reward for me, is when they say, I felt we shipped one up to someone who was turning 60, who was 65 up in, I think it was Delaware. And his great auntie, who was 98 years old, had passed the year before. And when he got a piece of the cake, his tears in his eyes just welled up. And his wife said, what's wrong? And he said, this reminds me of my great auntie who passed away last year. That's, when she shared that with me, here she goes, she said, baby, let me tell you. So when they start off with that, baby, you know you did something good.
Yeah, you even got the Holy Ghost almost out of them.
Yes.
Like, and Stephanie, there's a question Isaac has. Is you were talking about it took 20 years and you waited for God. I said, so when did you know it was time to move forward? I know you said you were waiting on him, but I know you had to have what happened in your life to do that.
That's a very good question. So you're right. He does send signs. So for that particular year, we always invited family over to our house for Christmas. That particular year became a miracle year because now everybody probably had this in their family. I know I'm not just talking about mine, but we have where this one doesn't speak to that one and so on. Can you relate? But they all speak to me. So I just invite, and I'm like, you come, you don't, you don't. But my one stipulation is when you walk through the door, you have to say hello. So you're saying hello to everybody.
That's right.
When you walk through, say hello. So it goes to everybody.
That's right.
That particular year, everybody said yes. And we ended up having 50 people. And my husband and I were like, where are we going to put these people? But they came, 50 people came. But when they came, everybody kept saying, are you going to make your cake? Are you going to make your cake? And and not only do I make the pound cake, another cake they like is a chocolate cake with caramel icing. So we always make that too. But people are trying to order that who know me. I'm like, it's not on the menu. But they kept asking about the pancake, and they kept saying, I'm not coming if you don't make it. And I said, why are you all saying that when you know I always make it? And then my brother came, and my brother kept telling me, and I had went through some challenges, and I didn't bake for about a year. So my brother had went and bought a pound cake from someone. And he said it was so nasty that he threw it, he took a bite and he threw it away. And he went back. First, he took it to some other people, let them taste it. It looked really pretty, but it was not good. And so he went back and demanded his money back, and she gave it back to him. So he came, he was like, sis, you got to do this. And that was just kind of a confirmation because I don't do New Year's resolutions. I always pray to God and ask him, reveal to me what you want me to do. And so I look at them as prayer requests. And then at the end of the year, I look at prayers answered. And so doing my prayer request, what do you want me to do? That's when he spoke to me. And then I still wasn't sure. So when I started getting those phone calls, are you going to have your cake there? Or I'm not going to come if you're not going to have it. And then my brother doing that. And I was like, really? And they said, yeah. So that was, Christmas. And then in January, we started brainstorming and saying, okay, I'm going to move forward. And once I started moving forward, I got the LLC, I got the EIN, I became a licensed baker because I wanted to become a licensed baker, even though I went through 40 plus years in the kitchen with grandma. I wanted people to know, because I wasn't going to culinary school. I'm like, I've already did the School of Hard Knocks. I know how to do it, but I want you to do it. I wanted them to know I know about food safety, food handling, and things like that. So I became a licensed baker so that others who didn't know me will feel comfortable with me.
No, I love that. And I'm just thinking about, and anybody that is wondering, hey, listen, we've had her cakes. She shipped them from Ohio to Texas. And so I'm here to tell you that make sure she's going to leave her information. If you're in real estate investing or real estate businesses, or you have a business that you like to bestow gifts upon your clients with, it's a perfect item for that stuff. There's so many different things that you can use that cake for. Order one for yourself. If you're going to give one away, you better make sure you order another one for yourself. Right?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
So you don't eat your cake that you're going to give and you have to order another one. So just order two. Right? Or get 4-way, order 5, whatever that is. So Stephanie, how do people get a hold of you? I know you have other businesses, but how do people get a hold of you? And thank you so much for sharing today.
Oh, Geoff, it's my pleasure. he's the comeback king. And so I know he's done came back more than once. And so he dropped, he's dropping some knowledge on you too. I loved what he did when I was backstage. So he has such a giving heart too. I know he's a real estate investor, so I'm going to tell you to hit him up as well. And especially if you're in the Texas area, if you want to learn, he's a servant leader as well. Geoff loves to educate you. And so if you want some education on how to get started in real estate, he didn't ask me to say this, so he don't know that I was going to do this, but I just want you to make sure that you contact him in regards to that as well. So as far as for me, yes, and we'll even allow you to put your logo on our cake boxes so we can share that with you. But my website is D with 2 E's, DEE, poundcakesplural.com. My phone number is area code 513-770-0947. And we ship nationwide. We have shipped to Texas more than once. And we have, as I mentioned, have shipped to 25 states. So we would love to serve you a taste from heaven and would love to do that. And just one of the things I would like to add in my other business, because you all are there, I know the focal point is a lot of real estate investors. I'm passionate about helping to protect you. So as I say, you can live your dream out loud. And so it's back to school time. One of the things that we do is protect your identity from theft and fraud. You can still use that same phone number. Get in touch with me. I'm passionate about helping you to do that so that when you go to close on those real estate deals, you don't have to worry about if someone compromised your identity or took your funds. Yeah. You want to be able to close on that deal, and we want to be able to help you. Geoff can help you as far as getting the deal. I can help you with peace of mind and protecting it.
Yeah, I'm glad you took the opportunity to mention that, so folks can do that. So I want to make sure that the website is DEE,
then LICIOUS POUNDCAKES.com. So delicious with 2 E's, poundcakesplural.com. And then the phone number 513-770-0947. You can reach me for both products at that number. And I'll be more than happy to help you and serve you.
Tell us the phone number one more time, please.
513-770-0947. And then the cell, that's the office, the cell is 513-348-5008. So if you want to text.
5008. Okay. I have 314.
Huh?
The cell number is
513-348-5008.
All right, so I'm putting that in the chat now, and if for some reason I screwed it up, just get a hold of me, my information, and I'll get that. So Stephanie, thank you again for hanging out with me today and dropping such a powerful story. Just things. Go back, if you just got finished with us, go back and listen to this thing again. There's so many different things that she shared, just her own experience. Right, and whatever your beliefs might be, you should be able to take away from things from here today, right, and use them right now today to make a difference in your life. So, Stephanie, I want to say thank you. It's been a blast.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. Anytime you need me, I'll be more than happy to come back and share with you again.
I love that, and maybe we get something out there around your security business and the protection that it brings, because I think that's really relevant. And then maybe even have a design or two on the case to show that. So, okay. So we'll get back to you, in touch with you on that one. But again, beautiful time chatting with you.
My pleasure. Love you too. My pleasure. Tell the wife I say hello.
I'll do that. You bet. I'll do the same. All right.
Thank you.
Take care now.
Bye-bye.
All right. Hey, listen, I know we ran a little long, but hey, it was worth it. I encourage you to share this information, subscribe to it. And if you're looking for a community that you want to become connected in, one that's going to pour into you, and that, come as you are, be who you are. We don't care. We don't judge. It's all about being the best person that you can be from the person you were the day before. And you can see from the passion that Stephanie shared today that, what we want to serve you with is everything to give you tools to stop that stinking thinking, right? To begin, like she said, our thoughts are so powerful. Our words are so powerful, right? And I just can't get help from just getting really crazy and excited about the fact that we've all been there and done it before. So no more excuses, right? No more excuses. Hey, if you don't go to church, that's okay. If you do go to church, that's even good for you because she dropped some really powerful connection stuff for you, challenging you a little bit too while on your faith, right? I mean, so listen, as I wrap this up, make sure you share, subscribe, post this thing, and anybody looking for speaking opportunities, looking for someone that can bring power of the comeback to you in terms of bringing you and your employees back together, moving forward, getting over the COVID, hitting those setbacks. I'm your guy for that. And also, too, lastly, about the real estate piece, make sure you connect with me on that. And one more thing I want to tell you, that the power of changing your thinking, we all have that ability. So go back and listen to this. Share some love with our guest, Stephanie. And remember this, there's no better time than now. There's no better time than now to make a difference in your life. Change your thoughts, change your life. Hit that Facebook community button, join us, come be stronger together, and we'll see you on the next episode.